Right, thank you, Neil, for that throw, and we will wait for ARM. Supposed to be coming out right at 4 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining us one more time here today. We're excited. Yeah, here we go. The trade desk is out. There's so many names starting to come through right now. We are brought to you by the Benzinga Pro platform. So the minute we have that, a beat of 21 cents right now for TTD, a nice move up to $88, $89. Trying to go right now. Not much happening, though, on this name. There it goes. Now it's starting to go $90 for the trade desk, closing at 86. Trying to go higher right now. TTD, there it goes. Nice move. This is a good name. We saw Google have a good report. I could see that happening from the trade desk as well, from a sales side of things. So right now, trade desk is the only big name that we have out right now. Anything else that you're seeing right now, Adele?
Yeah, I just saw Trade Desk. They did beat here both earnings per share and Q1 revenue coming in above expected. Not at all a bad look here for Trade Desk beating top and bottom here. We did get ARM though. We just got ARM out here as well. I'm seeing these numbers here coming from ARM. So their outlook here for Q1, because they're currently in their Q4 2023. Their outlook for the next quarter, so Q1 2024, 32 cents to 36 cents per share versus 31 cents per share expected. So higher than expected EPS guidance here. Their outlook for full year EPS guidance also lower range coming in below expectation, but the higher range coming in above here. Their Q4 revenue beating expectations, $928 million versus $875 million expected. They also beat EPS expectations for the current quarter, 36 cents versus 38 cents expected. So that's a nice look here for ARM. Falling though a little bit. Let's see what other numbers we got, because
people are saying for ARM. Let's go over to ARM right now.
That's not actually a bad report here.
I wish someone would have called this move, but right there, let's see where it goes. I have no idea where it's going to go, but there's ARM. It just touched 97, so whether or not you got that or not, we'll wait to see where ARM goes from here, but it is making a move down. We also have Instacart is out now as well. Instacart looking at a nice little high side move right now for Instacart. We are brought to you by the Benzinga Pro platform. Instacart reporting 43 cents. Their expected loss of 2. Apparently, they are coming out with an EPS positive EPS right now for CART. I know you mentioned the ARM numbers. I don't see them exactly yet, but I know you do have them. ARM right there, nice move downside right now, 101. But I almost feel like that's not the move right now. So I feel like there's more to come on ARM.
Well, I think with ARM, the thing is that the thing I'm seeing that could be bringing this one to the downside, because they had really strong revenue and earnings per share. Their net revenue and earnings per share estimates for next quarter good, but their full year guidance, the lower end of that, is coming below expectations. Higher end is beating expectations, lower end coming below expectations there. So not as strong as necessarily anticipated there for ARM. That could be moving this to the downside. Recovering a bit, though, here, I think.
Yeah, there it is. I see that. Yeah, I mean, I'm just surprised at the move. I mean, we had an expected move there of 14%, and we're not getting that right now. So we'll wait to see on ARM. Right now, down 5.8%, but this is not changing. So I wonder if there's a problem here. I might have to reload our talk here. Let me go over to Instacart just to see if that is changing. No, so I think, okay, there it goes, 23. I don't know if it's changing, but there you go. ARM, nice upside move, and then now coming right back in for CART now. But the big talk again is going to be ARM Holdings, as it's just dancing around now. It looks like maybe the guide is coming in. There goes ARM back up now to the upside. So like I said, there seems to have been something up with this report. We'll figure it out. But for right now, it's right here. It's really not moving. So ARM trying to figure it out. Now only 0.65 as we wait for more information on ARM. We're still waiting for Airbnb and Robinhood. Okay, so let me just check out Airbnb right now. What is the early reaction? Nice upside move to 167. Now we're starting to fall down on Airbnb. What does that look like as far as these look? All right, so the 200 period moving average is right here at 142. Airbnb is down. What do those numbers look like?
So they did beat for Q1 revenue. 2.14 bill versus 2.06 bill expected. That is a beat for ABNB. We also had, let me see, adjusted EBITDA coming in above expectations here. Their Q2 out, let's see, Q1 revenue coming in above expectations as well, 2.14 bill. Trying to find all these numbers. The one thing they did say that's a bit negative is they see their booking is going to be pretty much flat for Q2 2024 compared to Q1 2024. Not a great look. Basically flat bookings there. What else am I seeing?
We got it.
Yeah, higher profits.
Good. Okay, perfect. Yeah, Airbnb, a good little level there. Robinhood, we hit the bang there. We got breaking news. Bang. It's Robinhood is out right now. It just got to 20 bucks, by the way. 1980, good year. Nice move up there for Robinhood, up 5, but now pulling back in. Robinhood is now out. So boom goes the dynamite on Robinhood, but then that dynamite doesn't last too long. That wick of dynamite up there at 1880, we'll see if it can hold that, but now you're back down to 1825 and now moving. Almost got to $20 there was Robinhood. Now the pullback. We also got HubSpot, another name that a lot of traders are looking for right now. HubSpot beats 168 versus 180, but downside there for HubSpot. Does that mean anything for CRM? Yes, it does. There goes a nice little downside move for CRM. Robinhood, Adara, I see the numbers now.
That's a good report.
Is it? Yeah, I guess so. 18 versus 5 looks good. 618 sales versus 540. I think you're right on that one, Adara. But yeah, for right now, Robinhood flat, and if not going lower right now. You know what? The thing about this is we've seen this over and over again. You remember Tesla?
I do.
Right. They were downside.
They were.
Right. They had bad report. Not great, but then they talked about the robo-taxi. We started to hit to the upside on that. So a lot of this is going to be based on guidance, right? Not based on them beating, because I do see Robinhood beating EPS 18 versus 5, beating sales 618 versus 540, but still downside move right now for Robinhood. Let's see if it can hold that. What else do you have? Bumbles out? Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, one thing with Robinhood, too, they had a 65% year-over-year increase in assets under custody. I don't think that's anything to scoff at there. Nice look for HOOD.
We like
Still
that.
not seeing any guidance from them, though. Let's take a look at BMBL.
That must be everybody getting that gold card.
Oh, yeah, that gold card they announced.
You sign up. Well, that's the thing about Robinhood. They did give some incentives there for
true.
opening of new accounts. So the fact that you just mentioned there, what's up, Fabian? The thing is that as you mentioned it before, more assets under management. So that's going to be huge for Robinhood. So good there. I think we just went over a bunch of names. Let's just review some of the ones that we went over. ARM right now is heading lower again. So ARM right now is losing some of it, but only back down to 100. If this can stay at in and around 100 bucks, I mean, you're right here right now. That's in the middle. This will be probably a fade tomorrow for me if we end up here. But again, I'm looking for a break lower. Let's get in and around 90 bucks and see if we can get that 14 cents there for ARM. So that's one move there today. ARM now going lower. Lower, here it goes, 98 and change for ARM. Instacart was a name that a lot of traders could have had. That was well up, now all the way back down on a first EPS beat, 43 cents versus -2. So that was pretty interesting. Another big number that we had on board, Airbnb, bye-bye. That's not very nice, down to 146. We've seen similar things here with Disney, Adara, where we had some downside pressure on Disney. Today we had Upstart downside, we had Rivian downside, and there was one other name that missed earlier today, Intel down on the guide as well, and then it was Uber. Uber was the one that we're looking for. So maybe weaker numbers in Uber. Potentially we could have seen that with Airbnb. Travel potentially down. There goes Airbnb to the downside as well. So anything else catching your eye right now before we go over the markets?
Yeah, those Bumble numbers here. So they did beat here for Q1 adjusted EBITDA. They had a beat for Q1 net income, 33.9 mil versus 11.8 mil expected. That's a hearty beat there. They did beat Q1 revenue, 268 million versus 265.5 million expected. However, their quarterly average revenue per paying user decreased about $1 per user. So that's not a great look there for Bumble, BMBL. Those are the main numbers I am seeing here. Projecting some revenue, not seeing comparisons there. They also did increase their share repurchase program by 150 million. So not a bad look, but I think that decrease in ARPU, probably not great for Bumble.
No, we definitely, revenue per user, daily active users, some of those numbers are definitely important. Yeah, there's Bumble though, but a nice move still. Nice upside move for Bumble right now, 5%. I'm always trying to check out ARM, chilling out. Energy Transfer, somewhat of a name there, but just coming out there reporting, not moving around. Occidental the other day report, look at Occidental, downside there off their report from yesterday. This was the name Uber that we talked about. But here's just to be with us now, let's just do a quick little recap of some of the names that moved around here today. So we had a nice move up in the S&P 500 early, but then we faded out and wound up basically flat on the day. Market sharp downside move in and around 1 p.m. on the auction, but quickly recovered from that. The big sector for us today is going to be utilities. We talked a little bit about those with Constellation and some of those moves heating up as well. This is it right here. XLU, there it is right there. The number one ETF today, the number one sector goes utilities. Look at this move back up right there, starting to go as we worry about rates and not a cut in rates. Utilities pay a nice sweet dividend. We talk about compounding that interest. Watch out for that. Nice move up there for the Select Spider utilities sector. MSOS, puff, puff, pass, getting lit up a little bit today. Not really, only 1%. Trying to find that bottom. We're waiting for $8 on that. The KRE, we always get asked about KRE. I think this one, potential breakout long. If we think the financial sector is all better, XLF is breaking higher. Are we getting betterer and betterer as we face out with Roger Federer, who is one of the betterer tennis players of all time? That's a Cardi B line. All right, we'll move on. I'm too old. But anyways, we saw XLF breaking. We did have some problems with the regionals with NYCB. We did have some potentials. First of all, ARM is right now breaking lower, but I just want to check out KRE because I do like that 50 area. I think if we can start going on KRE, the regionals, I think we have a chance. ARM right now is back into day's lows. So we do have a little bit of an issue here with ARM going lower and extending. This isn't a Jared joke. That ARM extending out lower and lower right now on earnings. And I don't know, maybe if you have the ARM, that's giving me a seizure over there, Fabian. Maybe if you can review those ARM numbers for everybody as ARM continues to go lower. If we drop an anchored VWAP on this baby, I mean, we can drop it. Here's an anchor. If we drop it at last earnings gap, we'll put it right there. We're obviously nowhere near it, up to 123. That was that level that we're talking about. What about ARM at 120? But here's the push down into $94. We'll wait to see if we can get something there. 14% expected move, 13% expected move on ARM brings us into 90. So we'll see if we can get a lower move there for ARM coming through. Palantir off of a rough day yesterday. Battled back a little bit today, but ended flat, bouncing off $21. We'll see if we can hold that. Hey, look, ARC today. We talked about ARC. Downside move over the last couple days. Be careful with this. Rates being high continues to be a problem for ARC as they need protection from lower rates. A lot of the companies there. Uber, is Uber moving right now? There's something about, no, it's not. Okay, so it's a nothing burger there. All right, so I know we want to review ARM. We're going to go up to Chris in a couple seconds. Just quickly, ARM forward revenue, 3.8 to 4.1 versus 3.98. So their guidance is the problem here. But what did their initial numbers look like there, Adara? Yeah, so the lower range of the full year guidance is the issue. They did have good guidance or above expected guidance for the next quarter. So for ARM as well, just to note, the quarter they're reporting for is Q4 2023. So their guidance is for Q1 and full year 2024. But yeah, for Q4 2023, they did beat with the EPS, adjusted EPS of 36 cents versus 30 cents expected. Q4 revenue, 928 million versus 875.6 million expected. So that's a nice look. Their quarterly outlook here also above expectations for both earnings per share and Q1 revenue. The big issue, as Shawn was just noting, is just the lower end of its guidance range for the full year coming in below expectations. Nice. Okay, perfect. All right, perfect, Brendo. I got you on that one. We do have AMC coming in right now. I got it, Brendan. We have AMC coming in. We do have post-market May 8th. Okay, so that's today, right? So we'll wait to see then for and when AMC earnings. I think you gave me the note that AMC is normally in and around 4:15. So here it is. We're getting close right now to be getting those AMC earnings out. AMC has been an absolute destruction to the downside. So unfortunately, we'll have to wait for that. This has been split again. So I don't even know the dilution, but we are on AMC. $3. That I think it was 10 to 1, the most recent play there. So that's kind of like 30 cents. Thank you so much to everybody. I do have this open, man. I could see everything that everybody's talking about right there. And that's why we keep on referencing some of the plays when you do ask. XBI, I really like this, man. Biotech ETF. I think you got to get involved with some of that. Into the IBB is another play as well. A name that Michael's really liked is uranium. That was a mover again today. But as you can see, not too many green sectors, but a lot of red in the markets today. Someone who is always, if we're ready, it's going to be Chris Brecher, and he's going to talk a little bit about something that we talked about yesterday with Brian. Brian went with Ethereum, and I believe Chris wants to do something in the crypto space as well. So let's go. It's Trader Talk. Let's bring him on. Hello, Mr. Brecher. How are you doing on this fine Wednesday?
Just recouping from that major knee surgery last Friday. It's really interesting. I had the knee surgery, and you're talking about arm. So just sort of ironic there. But I'm doing okay, and not on any pain medicine, so I'm not going to be loopy when I'm on the show.
Good. The family taking care of you, I assume.
Yeah, but I'm already pretty active.
Chris, let me give you some advice.
I don't like to sit still with these things.
I was going to say, just say, yeah, the family's taking perfect care of me, because if they're watching, you know, then you get the love on that as well. Were you looking at ARM at all today? That was a nice move down here. I know we're going to talk a little bit about Bitcoin, but there's the move down on ARM. And what we talked about here, Chris, I think you're going to be with me on this. Every time we see earnings, it's not how to trade.
A little bit cut to the desk.
Stay with us. There it is, Chris. Okay. Chris, every single time we see earnings, it seems to be about the guidance moving forward, not necessarily the numbers that were just put out. Is there something in the report that scares us, right? We saw Meta get cranked to the downside. And I mean, check out that Meta chart. And I know, again, you were probably away from your desk last week, as you just mentioned, but Meta actually beat all over the place, but then mentioned that, hey, we got to spend some money on AI here. The market didn't like that, took it as a CapEx hit, but as you can see, we're almost all the way back up for Meta. I wonder if the same thing is going to happen for ARM. Were there any trades that you saw for ARM, or anything that might have sort of got you interested in this name?
Well, I was looking at some extensions in ARM. No, just kidding. What I'm looking at is going to be whatever conference call and how much insider lockup expiration is left.
Right.
I think that's a big deal. If it's gone down this much, they haven't sold any stock yet, then the stock could go and fill the gap at 75.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that was the big thing as well that we don't know much about, was the SoftBank. So good point there. Thanks for bringing that up one more time there, Mr. Brecher. Okay, well, I'm going to take the cat out of the bag right now. It's BTC, right? I mean, here's Bitcoin right now. We did have a story that came out a little bit late in the day that there was going to be a little bit of talk about some of the custodial issues with Bitcoin, and that Joe Biden was going to potentially strike down something presented in front of him. I don't know much about that, but for right now, this goes all the way back to May 1st, where we did have that dip down in Bitcoin. You and I have talked about the halvening. We've talked about what that might do to miners. And by the way, we talked about that, and look what happened to Mara. I know Mara had a earnings release and then a share offering, but that also fell down into some nice support there. Love Mara down here at 1485. But Chris, the floor is yours. What do you want to tell the over 3,500 right now that are watching about Bitcoin?
Well, the first thing is, it's nice that you had Brian on yesterday, who I talked to on Twitter, and he had a thing about the anchored VWAP and about that area. And whether it's having Trader Tammy on talking about Fibonacci's, or me with price support and resistance, all of these things, when you see it like that, which is what Brian showed, it doesn't mean I'm just going to go buy it, but it means at that level, I'm going to look for reversal candles short term.
Right.
And with Bitcoin, it worked great. So I'm not talking about right there. I'm talking about there. So pretty exciting. If you take this, let me get the annotations off of here. When Brian, this jives with what Brian was showing. So you had that support down here.
Right.
Right here. In fact, you could just buy versus the low, but I look at this. So I look at this trend line right here. Well, there are two. There's one. And I like the more points of contact. So that's why that one right there.
Right.
So
you break
the
higher.
whole key is not to buy on the way down.
Right.
It's to buy at support and when it has the bullish reversal pattern. So that combines with what Brian's doing and what I'm doing.
Yeah, because I was going to say that you didn't really, until you find those support levels, that was a tough one, because if you come here and you just showed the daily, but I mean, for me too, I'm a support resistance trader. I feel like we didn't have too much love back here for that 57.58, but then once we saw it kind of bounce off of there, that gave us that indicator. So again, I almost feel like there's even a strong one at 60 as well. We could be trying to bounce off that. I don't mind trying to catch a bid here at 60 and then maybe getting out if we break down below 57. But Bitcoin right now, again, doesn't it feel like, if we go back over to a weekly, don't we feel like we're doing this all over again though, Chris? Because there's the top at 62 and a cut in half, right? Down to 30. Then we get all the way back up to 65. We make new highs by about 5%. We make a new high by 5%. Then we get crushed again, down 80% from, or down 70% from that high again. Then we get all the way back up. We make another high by magically about between that 5 to 8% again. And now we're starting to come back down. I don't know. I'm getting a little anxious about all of this. I'm actually looking for longer term support in and around 50,000. What do you think about a longer term chart here? Now that we're talking about support and resistance, I'm getting nervous about this, to be honest with you.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, when we're talking about the anchored VWAP, I'm just talking about an intermediate trade or short-term trade, because you're dead right. The real support is there. That's exactly what you're talking about. Those prior tops and prior bottoms right in that zone. And that's what you're seeing. And I totally agree with you. But for that short-term pop, sure, you could play that. But I totally see what you're talking about longer term, that 50,000 level.
Hi, Chris. I'm Adara. I'm on the Market Recap Show with Shawn now. Nice to meet you. I was wondering if there's anything that you're looking at heading into the rest of the week other than this Bitcoin.
Yeah, I'm looking at a couple of things. Number one, I agree with Shawn about XBI, but there's a problem with that, is the bond market. So these are the three things. In fact, I do a nightly video 3 times a week for premium subscribers. But this is what I'm watching. I'm watching that the stock market seems incredibly tethered lately to the bond market. So when the bond market had that inverse head and shoulders, and here we go again with that inverse head and shoulders, sort of like what Bitcoin had, when bonds rallied, the S&P rallied. But one reason the bonds rallied is because the commodities that have been destroying the bonds stopped going up. In fact, I had a nice sell-off. So that sell-off corresponded with the bonds rallying, which took the SPX up.
Right.
So now you have the CPI coming out next week. So I think you're really at the whim of the bond market and the commodities.
Why?
So if I'm sorry.
No. I understand what you're saying. It's just bonds aren't supposed to rally when the equities are rallying. Is that the kind of divergence?
No, I don't really look at that. I look at it that, I mean, keep in mind in November, the bonds had a massive rally.
Right.
Massive rally.
And so did equities.
And they kept rallying into January.
Okay. Yeah, no, you're right. It flies in the face of conventional economics. But the thing is that who cares anymore, right? I mean, there's so much different value out there. The bond traders, they actually say, are smart money. Like, that's supposed to be follow the bond, the actions in the bonds, to give you potentially what may be happening in the equity side of things. And you know what? You are the one guest, honestly, Chris, that continues to talk about the bond market. So I appreciate giving us that light into that trade. You ever look at the TLT? Sometimes
you get all the time, but it's really funny. The reason I'm smirking is I started as a clerk on the floor, and there's pits, so you know the pits, but there's things called the book, which I work for the exchange. So I'm behind this sort of wall. And so I'm watching the traders, and they're trading Sears and Dow. That's where I started in 1982 on the floor.
Right.
And all the time they're sitting there like, watch the bonds, watch the bonds. So when the bond market started having the massive rally in August 82, that's when the stock market exploded. But that's why I'm obsessed with the bonds, because still from when I was on the floor, It was great. They were real loud and they talked out their trades, and I learned so much from them. But one of the biggest was watch the bonds.
Watch the
So
bonds.
it's just funny that you mentioned that. Look at the bonds. I look at the TLT also, and you'll see on there with the TLT that if you put, let's say, an hourly chart on the left, and on the right you put that Dow Jones Commodity Index,
Here we go.
they're also going to correlate. So definitely that's a 20-year. I watch the 30-year and the 20-year a lot because they seem to be the tail that wags the dog when it comes to the short-term rates.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that, hey, look, man, whatever dog wags the tail, tail wags the dog, something like that, they're all connected. And I think that's why the most important thing to me that we keep talking about with all of our traders, and I'm sure you do this with the individuals that you talk to, is understand your style of trade. Like what you see might be something different than what somebody else sees. And then the best part about it is to try to explain it, understand it, then add to your toolbox, right? So I do like some of that talk there. Just real quickly, I don't want to let you go yet in a couple minutes, so I'm going to come back to you with one more thing. Look at AMC right now. So those numbers are out. But right now, this is probably not a name that you're invested in, Chris. AMC only up 3.45%. We've talked about this on a daily candle, a daily chart. It's been an absolute nightmare. But my good friend Adara, what do you have for the viewers on AMC right now?
I have some of the strangest wordings from an earnings report I have ever seen.
All right.
And I quote, they continue to be ebullient. That's not even a word I'm comfortable pronouncing. About upcoming film lineup in the second half of 2024 and through 2025.
What does
they said that
ebullient
the Q2
mean,
box office will continue to be affected by the 2023 Hollywood strikes. They posted, okay, so drop here year over year for their Q1 2024 revenue. This year, 951.4 million. Last year, 954.4 million. Slightly smaller loss per share than expected.
So do you know what ebullient means?
I believe it's optimistic, excited, and looking forward to. Yeah. Okay. I just couldn't pronounce it.
Cheerful.
Yeah, cheerful.
I Googled it, came up with cheerful. Chris, you heard that word before, ebullient?
Well, I'll tell you I'm from the floor, so I'm used to one syllables. And that's why my wife, I married her, named Beth.
Same.
So I just can't have more than one syllable. That's just too rough on me.
Same.
And,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, I think it means whatever you say it means.
We got it. It means cheerful.
I don't have time to type it into Google.
Yeah, I did. I just highlighted it and right-clicked and said search Google, and it came up cheerful. So we'll have some ebullient movies coming, apparently. They're very, very excited about that. Okay, Chris, I want to talk to you about Robinhood quickly because this is going to be a name that traders are going to talk about tomorrow on the show. So I want to have your opinion on Robinhood. So today, Robinhood, if you come over to my screen, they just came out. They're all the way up here at $19, trying to break out higher. It seems like they are one of the only reports today that is continuing at least upside right now into $19. We did have, I'll just go over the numbers, good beat all over the place, higher than expected net holdings for Robinhood. I like that. Expected move though, 12%, only 6 right now. For me, on a daily chart, I'd like to see us hold this level. I like that we've gotten this garbage out of here. Nice pullback into the 50 period, now taking out 19. I feel like tomorrow, if we can hold in and around 18.50, I'm going to be looking for a Robinhood long. Are we right with that? What is Robinhood telling a trader like you, Chris?
Well, the first thing I'm looking at is look at the correlation between Coinbase and Robinhood.
Wow, that looks amazing.
That's uncanny. If you might have thought I put Robinhood on the right. That's just Coinbase versus Robinhood is amazing. So I agree with you about Robinhood. I'm wondering if there's anything that's going to happen with the integration of Thinkorswim getting absorbed by Schwab this weekend. I don't think so. But I'll tell you, if it's a pain in the rump continuing to use Schwab like I do, then I'm probably going to open an account with Hood.
Right. Okay. I don't know. Why do you think Charles Schwab and Robinhood, just because they're competing together, so now Thinkorswim goes into Charles Schwab? Do you like Charles Schwab the best out of all the names? SCH?
No. There are so many pushback from subscribers that can't stand Schwab.
Got it. Okay.
So
the other way around.
I wonder if they'll go to like the Robinhoods of the world.
Got it. I don't know if you saw that, but they're giving, if you got, I think it was 10 people to sign up for Robinhood accounts, and I think deposit like 25 grand. They were giving $1,000 away, or that little gold card that they were giving away. So maybe there are going to be a little bit of hits there coming forward for Robinhood, but I don't mind Robinhood. Thing is, for me, it's a lot of work to switch your account, isn't it? That's what I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's laziness by me to do that, but I feel like there has to be a little bit more than that to get me going for that. But all right, Chris, thank you so much for joining us today. Best of luck on your recovery. And we're going to pay attention to some of those Bitcoin levels there for some support and resistance on that. We're going to continue to look at some bonds there, Chris. So thank you so much for joining us here again today. It's 4:30. Be well. And I hope you have an ebullient evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's Trader Talk, Mr. Chris Brecher. All right, everyone, get ready, get locked, get loaded. We are about to go through another thing that we like to do on this show, and it's called Roll Call. So right now we have over 2,500 watching. Thank you so much for that. But I'm going to go over just real quick. Rapido Fire. Rapido, here we go, Rapido. We have ARM with a downside push right now. ARM down 9%, not nice. Instacart right now, Instacart's down 5%. Nice, but not that nice. Average nice?
Mediocre.
Mediocre, I like that, mediocre right there. AMC, will the apes go flying?
The apes fell.
Wow, 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 branch broke.
Yeah, no flying monkeys there. The Wizard of Oz, classic flying monkeys.
I love the Wizard of Oz.
Those monkeys' wings got cut off to make an appropriate AMC reference.
Yeah, good one there. Okay, I just want to check Reddit here after hours. I know that they reported yesterday. Just want to have a quick check on that. We just discussed Robinhood today not stealing from the poor and giving to the rich, but maybe just making the richer richer, because it's a nice upside move there for today. And then the other one that we want to talk about was Airbnb before we go back to it. Another one that has slapped the fail on itself today into or after earnings. So, hey man, we said we'd do the roll call, so let's do it right now. I saw one of my favorites was on here. Where is it? There it is. It's right here. It's Mr. Dan McIsaac. What's up to you, my friend? What's up to DJ Marshall? Another one there. DJ Marshall, a good fan of mine, or fan of the show, friend of mine. Toilet Brush, you know, not a bad name. It's a name. It's a name. It's a name. A good one. Mike P is here. Raul is in the building. Chuck of all trades. If you're going to have trades, why not have Chuck of all trades there for you? Royal Dixon is here. Bears vs. Bulls, a great friend of ours. What's up to Piper is here. He says shout out to everybody. Shout out to you as well. Henry, big fan. Henry, always here as well. Zion, Daryl, look. True traders stay late. That's how I know. When I'm shouting out these guys, that's what I'm saying. I want to recognize all of you that watch the main show and then the best show. It is your recap show right now. What's up to Michelle Meir? I saw you just became a member again today. Shout out to Michelle. Hey, because she became a member, she wants BYND. Let's see what Beyond Meat is doing right now. Oh. Too much, maybe not enough sodium in this, as it doesn't seem to want to go anywhere. Potentially too much sodium. But there it is, Beyond Meat. They got to get their stuff figured out. I mean, honestly, I feel like first to market, they should have done better than they did. They really got going during the pandemic, during some of the share issuances there were really heavily shorted. Beyond Meat still continues to be a short float maven at 38% short with 9 days to cover. You may not find a more interesting name than Beyond Meat. So again, post-market today, May 8th, not seeing much on Beyond Meat. Sebastian says Adara is killing it, and I do agree. Go follow all of us at Trader TV Shawn, at Trader TV Adara. So thank you so much for joining. Plans for the night?
Sleeping. I mean, maybe I'll do some writing as well, but honestly,
she's always sleeping. No, it's great to be sleeping.
I sleep. I am literally like medically tired, so I sleep.
How many hours? Oh, you've been declared medically tired?
I've been declared pathologically sleepy by a doctor. Yeah.
How do I get that declaration?
It's almost impossible. My doctor was shocked.
So what? Really how many hours? See, we're getting deeper. This is not even Q&A with Adara yet. Podcast.
Yeah.
All right, join us on the podcast. No, how many hours do you sleep then a day?
So my brain can sleep up to 15 apparently per day. I try to sleep less than that because I feel like I'm at my most alert when I sleep a little bit less. But on the weekends when I'm uncontrolled, I can do up to 12 hours and it's horrible. I get so tired and I just want more sleep. I'm like a sleep addict.
So what is the right amount for you to be at optimal? Did you say 14 hours, or what did you say?
No. My brain thinks it needs that much. I personally feel the most comfortable when I get about 6 to 7. If we get into that 8 to 9 territory, things start getting bad. But last night I accidentally ended up with like 4, and I feel fine.
Stop sleeping so much. But
it's not my choice.
I know, I get it. Yeah, 6 to 7, you're more in my range. I think I need a little bit more. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to give a big shout out to our good friend Chris Brecher again for joining us every single week on a Wednesday. Well, actually, he rotates with Tammy every other week, I should say. Thank you so much, Chris, for coming through. More Chris Brecher, they say in the chat, and we say the same thing. More Trader TV Live hits you tomorrow at 8:30, where we'll be trading all of these earnings and discussing them in much greater detail. So thank you so much for joining us. Adara, Shawn, see you in the AM.